A fervent appeal to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Welcome, Vanakkam, Vandanam, Namaskaram. The very limited purpose of this video is to make a humble, desperate, and fervent appeal to the Bharatiya Janata Party. I only hope that my pleading, my request, my supplication will not fall on deaf ears. I sincerely hope so. What is my request? What is my need? First of all, my need is to be able to listen to both sides of an argument as respectfully and attentively as I can, so that I develop a factual and reliable understanding of the pros and cons of a particular issue which is being debated, particularly on national television, so as to come to a dispassionate, objective, just and fair conclusion about it. Now, the basic condition for doing this is that I, as the viewer or spectator, if you like, should be able to tolerate, endure the way an argument is presented, if an argument is presented at all. When any issue is debated in public life, it is understood that that exercise will be conducted within the framework of common courtesies. And that expectation or that requirement also includes the courteous, clear, cogent presentation of one's own standpoint, whatever it is, one's own defense, even one's own offense, in a civilized manner, so that the way something is presented does not jar on the sensibilities, the sense and sensibilities of the viewer. I have to admit, rather I have to complain, I have to cry, that this is not the case, especially with the spokespersons of the BJP. And as I said very clearly at the outset, it is only out of my eagerness to be able to listen to both sides of the argument and to judge fairly and factually. Otherwise, it wouldn't matter to me. As of now, my predicament is that I tried to switch on national television at the time of these highly popular, I'm told popular, I don't know why they're popular, prime news hour discussions, television shows, showcasing the spokespersons of various political parties, debating issues, mostly allegations, counter-allegations, acrimonious accusations generously hurled at each other, and preferably the most intemperate, vituperous, offensive words as well as tones, using 100 words where actually 10 words will do, raising one's voice unnecessarily to be able to shout the other person down, reminding me always of the old dictum in debating or in public speaking: when you have nothing to say, shout. When you are not making sense, shout. And I have to say that of all parties, it's the spokespersons of the BJP who are particularly offensive. I don't mean any offense, but this is a fact. Ask any sensible person in the country, I'm sure, except the camp followers of the BJP, neutral people will say the same thing. I'm glad that one particular spokesperson who was more assertive and belligerent than anybody else is now rarely seen, He has been accommodated in the Lok Sabha, where I'm sure his lung power and his oratorical powers will perform miracles. Good for the party. I wish the party well. But there are others who jar on my sense the moment, in fact, to tell you the truth, the moment I see that face on the TV set, I switch off my television. I cannot endure it at all. That person may have command over a vast array of data, knowledge, and all that, but you're not addressing a pack of wolves or hyena or thick-skinned animals in the backyard of a jungle. You're undertaking a publicly visible, nationally watched program addressing people who are fairly educated, sensible, who have some basic acquaintance with the facts of the matter. And that may be the reason why, out of a sense of insecurity and an eagerness to overpower the thinking and the sense of the audience or the viewer, the spectator, this kind of unnecessary, gratuitous violence is resorted to, and it is extremely counterproductive. I don't know if the BJP think tank realizes it, if the BJP authorities realize it. I'm pretty sure that the spokespersons of the BJP are doing great harm to the party. And they are largely responsible, at least they are responsible to a substantial extent, for alienating the youth of this country from the BJP, because the youth of this country are not impressed with any of these things. Now, if you are doing this in a theater where people go for entertainment, the difference between ordinary life in the society and the life in the theater is that there is a clean cut between what happens in the theater and what happens in our day-to-day life. That's the reason why, for the sake of relief from the humdrum, monotonous way of life that people lead, they go to the theater. They go there for relief. There it makes sense that what you present is aggressive or melodramatic or whatever. It makes sense. But imagine addressing the youth of India who are today plagued, worried, upset with the real life issues that are niggling them, pinching them, stinging them day by day. And the facts that they know in the marrow of their bones are being debated. And the real facts are being sought to be overpowered by heightened lung power, by unnecessary verbal aggression, by sort of a tsunamic explosion of tonal aggression. Now, this is bound to leave a very bad taste in the mouths of the young people, because they are not bound by all the things that have gone on by tradition, by the conventional piety, loyalty, etc. The youth of today are singularly focused on attaining for themselves a certain quality of life. They will not sell themselves to an ideology or some kind of advocacy for sentimental reasons. If a party or if an advocacy or a program agrees with their own central pursuit, which is a minimum quality of life, minimum security about tomorrow and day after tomorrow, then they will go along with it gladly, enthusiastically. But if there is a complete contradiction between the two, and if everybody thinks that the youth of India can be overpowered, indoctrinated, brainwashed with this kind of showcasing of boorishness, lumpen boorishness on television sets, I think this indicates a misunderstanding of the most gross and vulgar kind. So the least that the BJP can do for itself is to choose and accredit people who can communicate themselves, communicate the side or argue the side of the party which needs to be argued, which needs to be presented in the most effective manner possible. But this is not an effective manner, this is a defective manner, which is bound to be counterproductive. If a party does not know the difference between being effective and being defective, then God help that party. And I don't want to be person specific, but there is a particular face which does not even look normal to me. The moment that person opens his or her mouth, I say his or her because I want to conceal the gender of the person. And very likely those who listen to me would immediately pick that person because there is nobody else like that person. I would say anywhere in the world. That degree of offense, unnecessary, gratuitous offense, which is never likely to help the BJP even 1 second. The BJP has many people in its ranks, highly educated. Some of them are Stephanians, I know them, I don't want to mention names. Or maybe Sobhan Das Gupta, for example. He is a very competent, devoted, ardent ideologue and advocate of the BJP cause. I have no problem listening to him. I listen to him very attentively. When Arun Shauri used to be a spokesperson for the party, whenever he appeared on television, I used to respect him, listen to him in rapt attention. Even now, there are one or two people, but unfortunately, even they try to imitate the standards set by these more lumpen, aggressive types. Otherwise, they fear that they will suffer in comparison and they will lose their position, the coveted position as national spokespersons of the BJP. And a greater tragedy is that this infection has already spread from BJP to other parties, so that the spokespersons of other parties who till say 10 years ago communicated themselves or conducted themselves with a fair degree of courtesy and self-restraint and personal dignity are also now reinventing themselves after the fashion established in this manner that I've already referred to. This is very unfortunate, and also this is becoming a social and cultural pestilence. As an educator, as a lifelong teacher, and still a teacher though without any official placement, I'm concerned about the highly harmful, poisonous effect this has on the children and youth of India, because they would grow up thinking that this is the way one has to speak in public life, and knowingly, unknowingly, willy-nilly, the party will promote unnecessary, gratuitous, corrupting, aggression, intemperance, sauciness, disrespect in public communication, which can only be a terrible loss for the country. At any rate, it cannot be debated or doubted even for a moment that this kind of public showcasing of gratuitous boorishness, verbal violence, and tonal aggression is not bringing any dividends to the BJP. It is not doing any credit to the BJP, rather. It is adversely affecting the image and fortunes of the party. And therefore, if anyone cares for the party, they will mind this and make sure that this corrosion of the party's image, this daily systematic corruption and distortion of the party's image in the minds of the people of India, who are well-meaning people, self-respecting people, people who believe in the nicer aspects of life, people with sense and sensibility, who do not want their sense and sensibility to be buffeted, to be pounced upon, punched, hit, buffeted, pulverized, day in and day out in this manner. For God's sake, let's have spokespersons and not some volcanoes sitting and erupting, lava of aggression, assertion, belligerence, all to nothing. This is not India. This is not the ethos, the culture, the spirit of India. This is something else. It is totally alien to us. I cannot connect to it at all. As an Indian, I cannot connect to this at all. Maybe it's opportunistic for me to mention here that some of my friends um, in this channel have expressed disappointment about my gentle, measured, slow way of speaking. They assume that this way of speaking is boring. But I have to submit to them, it's because they are unnecessarily overexposed to this aggressive way of speaking in public, which is meant actually to disarm, cripple, and overwhelm the understanding of the spectators, the viewers, to take over your thinking completely, to colonize your mind, to paralyze your reasoning. That's not my intention. My intention is to stimulate your thinking and to submit certain thoughts, insights, possibilities in humility to your consideration so that you do your own thinking. If I want to overwhelm you with my ideas and plans and purposes, then I would speak exactly like these spokespersons do, by which I am sure I will only be insulting you. I will be doing no good to you. So let's understand something that the Greeks understood a long time ago. They said that if you want to undertake any thinking at all, if you want to encourage and facilitate your fellow human beings to think at all, speak with deliberation. That's the technical word they used. I'm using the correct word that they use. Speak with deliberation. Do not just explode like fireworks. That doesn't allow you to think. Nothing settles down in your mind. Speak slowly. Choose every word carefully, accurately. Give to the person who listens to you time to grasp, to assimilate, and also to think for himself. Respect the audience, respect the viewer, respect the spectator, respect the other. That is the reason why I adopt and maintain this way of presentation, in spite of the fact that I know this is very likely to be unpopular and, in fact, felt insufferable by those who are habituated to, or used to, or inured to the usual social media style of communication, and particularly, even worse, much worse, the mode of communication that's now rendered in vogue by the so-called national television. I don't know why every channel claims itself to be the national television. The national television. For God's sake, words have some meaning. There can only be one national television. National television means a television which represents a nation. You are one of the many channels operating in India. You are not the channel that represents, the sole channel accredited to represent the idea, the sensibility, the sentiments, the insights, the concerns, the convictions, the dreams and aspirations of all Indians. You are not a national channel. You are just one of the many channels operating, one of the more than 800 channels in India. How can every channel be national television? National television. So downright stupid. Let's respect the words that we use. Let's respect the language that we use. Why do we have to puff up with pride? Why do you have to say that you are this, you are that, you are national, you are national? There is a republic channel, though the word republic cannot be claimed actually by the law of the land. But if you are of a particular camp, then you can do what you want. How can you be republic? I mean, mercifully, the channel does not say the Republic channel. Probably that was what they wanted, but they were warned in time. So, Republic channel. Now, it's all highly presumptuous, pretentious, insincere, but everything सब चलता है हमारे मुल्क में सब चलता है. Everything will work, so it goes on. But let's be clear, let's be factual. And again, I want to conclude by repeating my appeal to the BJP. For God's sake, give us better, at least tolerable spokespersons, because I really want to listen to the BJP side of the story, so that my judgment is not partial or skewed or slanted in one particular direction. But if presenting your perspective or your side of the story is a relentless and insufferable attack on my ears, my eyes, all my sense and sensibility, then pardon me, I cannot endure it. It's far beyond my capacity to endure. For God's sake, give us better spokespersons who can be endured, listened to with some degree of composure and comprehension. Thank you very much. All the best to all my fellow countrymen. Thank you.